Hello and welcome to my channel. These are just my opinions on what's going on with AI and my impressions as someone who likes doing art. The first time AI started to make big news last year, I was so discouraged to do art. The type of stuff that could be done by AI was so impressive, even a year ago. And as someone who still has a long way to go in this art journey, I admit I gave up. There are so many good artists out there, better than me. But now AI had the potential to top even the best artists. And I just didn't find a reason to continue when art could now be generated in seconds. What was the point of doing art in this world, right? After almost a year of not doing art, I got the panini, the thing that starts with the letter C. And I wasn't feeling too well. I was feeling really down and I was isolated in quarantine. So I dusted off my art materials and started swatching them and finished some domestica courses on watercolor. And honestly, I just vibed. Yes, I used the word vibe. I have never considered myself to be a very passionate person, but even so, art has become an important part of my life. And AI or not, I don't think artists should stop making art. Whether you are an experienced artist or just beginning your art journey, I don't think you should stop. The first reason I think we shouldn't give up on making art is that art is very fulfilling. I think that for some of us, making art can be very relaxing. It can bring joy and hope, and we can share that love with others through it. It's a great way to express yourself, to communicate with others. And you may be drawing your original characters and creating a story for them, or maybe you're making a political piece to bring awareness to an issue. Whatever art you make, it's part of who you are. It comes from you, and it's your way of existing in this world. Giving up on art is giving up on a part of yourself. It honestly sounds so dramatic, but see, even when I was sick, I realized how much I had missed it. It was like reconnecting with a part of myself I had left behind. I have had moments in life where I have no time to do art, or even moments where I couldn't do art at all. Like, when you're sick or when I hurt my finger. So I don't want you to be hard on yourself if you need a art hiatus. These things happen, but don't stop because AI. The second reason is connected to the first in many ways. Art can enrich our daily lives. First of all, the process of making art is extremely valuable. The process of going from idea to sketch to finalized work is a roller coaster. And through the art process, we can learn so many other lessons that seem to have nothing to do with art. For example, patience, especially when you are starting art, or resilience, when your drawing doesn't seem to be turning out the way you want, but you keep going anyway. You understand the value in practicing over and over, dealing with failure and celebrating success. Also, you might appreciate the creative process of others. So for example, you understand that animation takes time and work, and because of this, you might appreciate animated movies more. In fact, you appreciate movies, fashion, architecture, and other artistic fields because you know what it takes to see the final product come to life. But it doesn't just have to be within the confines of the physical arts. You may have a better understanding of the hard work, for example, an author puts into making his stories come to life. Art opens up your ability to observe the world. We really aren't looking as closely as we think. But to be a great artist, you have to develop these observation skills. I'm still developing them, but I think that there is a sort of magic that happens all around when you start to really see and look at the things around you. You see shapes you have never seen before. You see color combinations in the skies that you thought only possible in dreams. You start to see the world as a living, breathing work of art. Art can enrich your life in this way and many more ways. So don't let AI take away the magic that comes from understanding the world this way. I think the biggest frustration comes from artists who want to make art their career. And honestly, I completely understand. You can always keep doing art as a hobby, but it's the people who want a career in art, the ones who are actually getting affected the most. I think this is a problem a lot of people don't want to address when they say to not give up on art because of AI. The frustration is extremely justified. I cannot sit here and negate that if industries start to use AI, that means less jobs for professional artists. I think the best thing I have told myself to keep going is that there will always be people who appreciate art from those who worked hard towards it. And this appreciation will keep those doors open for potential careers. There is always something very beautiful about a person who spent years honing their art, and because of that, they can produce the most beautiful drawings or art pieces. They have worked at this, they still work hard on it, and I think people admire that. When you see a person who has worked years on musical instruments, or a person who has trained hard as a marathon runner, the fact that humans are so limited by their humanity and yet somehow are still able to achieve such wonderful feats, I think that this is still something that will always be relevant. It's what being human is about. Yes, a machine is human-made, and it is impressive when it can produce better drawings than I could at this point. But there was no work put into it. There was no technique, no little scribbly errors, or no little oopsies here and there. Those little mistakes and oopsies are what make artwork take a life of its own. They are special, they are ours. They are beautiful because it took time, it took effort, it took correcting after making mistakes, but also embracing those mistakes. The art process reflects life, and it explains it too. People who love tech will always exist. But I do think that there are people out there who do appreciate art, and by extension, the artists that make that art. There is always a story behind art made by a human. Even if it's just, I was bored and I doodled, there's a story there. I cannot tell you this or that will happen, but I think that even if it sounds woo-woo, I think artists should keep supporting one another. We have art to do, AI or not. As long as artists keep doing art, artists will always have a place in this world. I think we are also just running the AI wave right now, but let's not fall off of it. Even if the future seems dim, you never know. The future might actually be brighter than we think. So these are my closing comments. I decided to make this video because I was the person that gave up on art. I actually thought that there was no hope and didn't do anything for months. Thing is, it doesn't matter if there's hope or not. AI is here, yes, but we're also here. And I don't mean to go all John or Sarah Connor. I'm not even against AI. AI could help us in many ways, but that's a whole other topic. However, I do think it is extremely justified to have these frustrations as an artist. So I hope that if there's someone out there who is also frustrated and gave up, well, don't do it. Pick up art again. Keep going. Stay on that path, and you never know. Best thing that can happen is artists are even more appreciated for their work now. And the worst thing that can happen is that you made art that you wanted to make and developed important skills while doing it. So stay strong, artists. Anyway, thank you for listening my rant. See you soon.